night and you're watching Nightline with me, Anita. The top stories. In Deepavali greeting, Prime Minister vows to improve welfare of community. And Israeli airstrikes once again targets Gaza hospitals and schools. We begin with this headlining story. The nation's prosperity and heritage must be fairly experienced by all. In giving this assurance, the Prime Minister said that he will strive to enhance the well-being and quality of life of the community. In his Deepavali message on Friday, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said that the unity government will ensure the socio-economic development of all citizens, a more equitable distribution of wealth and efficient assistance to those in need. In a statement, Anwar also touched on the country's cultural richness. He said it must continue to be preserved without interference from any party. The Prime Minister said that any attempt to weaken the unity and diversity of the country must be fended off with high moral values and conduct. Anwar said Deepavali, celebrated as the Festival of Lights, symbolises the triumph of light over darkness, good over evil, and the power of knowledge over ignorance and arrogance. Quoting classical Tamil text Tirukkural, Anwar said happiness from good ethics or governance was a true blessing, while joy from unethical behaviour would lead to suffering and short-lived happiness. Anwar said, therefore, the celebration of Deepavali is one of the paths towards building a civilised Malaysia, fostering respect and preserving harmony among communities. He wished all Hindus in Malaysia Deepavali Nalvaltukal, and that's Happy Deepavali. Meanwhile, highway users started enjoying toll-free trips this weekend from midnight in conjunction with the Deepavali celebrations. Works Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalingi said the toll-free trips will end at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. The exemptions are applicable to all classes of vehicles at all toll plazas, except those at the country's borders, namely the Bangunan Sultan Iskandar and Tanjung Kupang toll plazas in Johor. The Works Minister said that the toll-free initiative is to celebrate all Malaysians, especially the Indian Hindu community who celebrate Deepavali. It is also in line with the desire of the unity government to help ease the burden of the people, regardless of religion, race and belief. He added that the date selection is also intended to help travellers avoid traffic congestion for their journey to their hometowns and back to the city. It is expected that about 11.8 million vehicles would be using the highway during this period. And for the latest on the traffic situation in the country, we'll cross over to our reporter Alif Yunus at the Gombak Toll Plaza. Alif?
Okay, thank you, Anita. The traffic condition in most highways nationwide was reported to be congested, especially heading towards the northbound as at 10 p.m. Now, I'm here at the Plaza Toll Gombak, and as you can see behind me, the traffic heading to the east coast has started to pile up. Concessionaire Ane Berhad has also opened an extra lane to accommodate the heavy traffic flow. According to Lembaga Lebuh Raya Malaysia (LLM), the congestion may continue throughout the weekend as highway users are taking advantage of the free toll and toll discount period offered by the government during the Deepavali festivities. Earlier, I had the chance to speak with a few motorists here at the toll plaza to get their views on the free toll and their holiday plans during this long weekend. Let's take a listen.
Setelah Deepavali ni balik kampung, jumpa keluarga, rehat-rehat dengan keluarga je lah. Tak ada lah setakat ni, tak ada. Mungkin rehat kat rumah je lah. Sebab lama tak jumpa keluarga kan.
Keadaan sekarang ni agak sesak jugalah.
So abang nak pergi ke mana ni?
Nak pergi balik dari Melaka balik Kelantan.
Dari Melaka nak balik Kelantan.
Baguslah kita orang yang berat hati nak lalu LPT jadi nak lalu LPT lah. Situ terlalu mahal.
Terlalu mahal kan? So agak-agak boleh lah ambil kesempatan kan untuk
kan?
Okey. So nak tanyalah, ada apa-apa plan ke lagi selain daripada cuti ni?
Tak lagi, baru announcement tadi kan. So kita ingat nak lalu LPT lah. Kita jarang lalu situ sebab tu mahal.
Pendapat saya memang sangat-sangat bagus lah. Sempena cuti ni kan orang ramai balik kampung. Jadi bagus lah dia bagi tu percuma, perserba, sekurang-kurangnya jimat sikit belanja. Biasa tu kalau pergi balik Terengganu KL ni dalam 80 lebih kan. Kalau tu percuma lagi 5 lah.
Baguslah sebenarnya. Bukan saja menguntungkan, dia macam kira win-win situation lah. Baguslah, bagus untuk rakyat lah. Untuk dalam masa keadaan sekarang yang susah ni kan.
Okay, for the latest update on the traffic condition, highway users can check out the info posted on LLM social media accounts. And before I go, make sure to follow the travel time advisory and plan your journey ahead. That's all from me that I can share here at the Plaza Tol Gombak. Back to you, Anita.
Thank you very much, Alif, for braving the rain to bring us that report and wishing all those on the road a safe journey. Selangor's 2024 budget was tabled on Friday with an allocation of 2.53 billion ringgit, an estimated deficit amounting to 330 million ringgit compared to this year's deficit of 450 million ringgit. During the tabling, Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Shari also announced that more than 20,000 civil servants in Selangor will receive 2.5 months salary incentive, which will be paid in stages. He said the first phase of the special financial assistance, amounting to 1 month's salary or a minimum of 1,000 ringgit, was already disbursed in conjunction with Hari Raya Aidilfitri earlier this year.
Bagi BKK kali kedua, 1 bulan gaji minimum RM1,000 dengan anggaran implikasi kewangan 40.03 juta ringgit akan dibayar pada 28 Disember 2023 dan bantuan khas kewangan kali ketiga iaitu setengah bulan gaji minimum RM1,000 yang akan dibayar pada bulan Februari 2024 bagi meringankan beban para penjawat awam sempena persiapan sesi persekolahan 2024 yang dijangka bermula pada bulan Mac 2024.
The state government estimates that revenue that can be collected would amount up to 2.2 billion ringgit. This figure is projected based on the previous track record of revenue amounting to 2 billion ringgit, which was successfully collected between August 2022 and September 2023. Themed Independent Selangor, driving progress, triggering unity. The state budget revolves around 4 main core areas, which are catalysts for quality investment and high income generation: education and guaranteeing environmental sustainability, protecting the welfare of the people, and uplifting community unity. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim is set to underscore Malaysia's unwavering stance on the imperative need to conclusively and permanently halt Israel's genocidal actions against the Palestinians in Gaza during the 8th Extraordinary Islamic Summit of the Organisation of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. Wisma Putra in a statement said the Prime Minister is scheduled to attend the conference in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Saturday. The primary focus of the summit is to address the ongoing Israeli aggression, cruelty and inhumanity in Palestine. This extraordinary gathering follows Anwar's extensive engagements with several OIC leaders. Leaders and delegates from OIC member states will gather at the summit, hosted by Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The summit is anticipated to conclude with the adoption of a final communique. Anwar will be accompanied by Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir, along with senior government officials. Hospitals in Gaza is in the firing line again as the Zionist regime targets civilian infrastructure amid heavy bombardment. In its latest attack, Israeli forces have bombed and shelled the grounds of several medical facilities in northern Gaza, while tanks have surrounded at least 4 facilities where thousands of people have taken shelter. Despite Israel agreeing to the 4-hour daily humanitarian pauses, Gaza residents fleeing towards the humanitarian corridors have come under heavy fire from Israeli tanks. This while they were using the very thoroughfare that they were promised by the Zionist regime that it would be safe. Multiple people were killed and many were injured in the incident. Deadly clashes have also been seen at the Al-Quds hospital, where Israeli snipers were targeting civilians who were displaced in the war, while another 20 Palestinians were killed on Friday following an Israeli strike on a school in Gaza City. As of Friday, the death toll in Gaza has risen to 11,078 Palestinians, including 4,506 children. Amid the reports in Gaza, Iran has warned late on Thursday that the scale of civilian suffering caused by Israel's war on Hamas will inevitably lead to an expansion of the conflict. Iranian Minister of Foreign Affairs Hossein Amir-Abdollahian made the statement in a phone conversation with Qatari counterpart Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani as the two top diplomats exchanged views on some initiatives for a potential ceasefire in Gaza. Hossein added that due to the expansion of the intensity of the war against Gaza's civilians, expansion of the scope of the war has become inevitable. However, it is unclear what he meant by an inevitable expansion of the conflict. Meanwhile, the United Nations UN on Friday has urged for an investigation into Israel's use of high-impact explosive weapons in Gaza. Its High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, said the weapons used by the Zionist regime have been causing indiscriminate destruction in the besieged Palestinian enclave.
The extensive Israeli bombardment of Gaza, including the use of high-impact explosive weapons in densely populated areas, razing tens of thousands of buildings to the ground, is clearly having a devastating humanitarian and human rights impact.
Talk added that Israel must cease its use of such weapons in the densely populated areas, adding that the attacks must be investigated as the bombardments of Gaza have breached international humanitarian law. He also said the Zionist regime must take immediate measures to protect Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, where violence is escalating between Palestinians and Israeli soldiers and settlers. In the meantime, the UN General Assembly's Committee on Economic and Financial Questions have voted in favor of a resolution affirming a permanent sovereignty of the Palestinian people over their natural resources. The resolution calls on Israel, the occupying power, to cease the exploitation, damage, cause of loss or depletion and endangerment of natural resources in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem and in the occupied Syrian Golan. Up next, thick smog shuts down Pakistan's Lahore, sickens tens of thousands. News from the foreign front when we return. Don't go away. On the foreign front, Portugal's President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa on Thursday dissolved Parliament and called for snap elections just 2 days after the country's Prime Minister resigned amid a continuing corruption investigation. Rebelo de Sousa said Parliament would be dissolved once lawmakers pass Portugal's draft 2024 budget, which is expected to be approved at the end of the month, and that snap elections would be held on March 10th. In the meantime, Socialist Prime Minister António Costa will stay on as caretaker Prime Minister until the vote is held, which Rebelo de Sousa said would provide clarity and direction to overcome an unexpected void that surprised and disturbed the Portuguese. The announcement comes after Costa offered his resignation on Tuesday following the arrest of his chief of staff as part of an anti-corruption investigation that includes allegations of malfeasance and influence peddling. Lahore has become the latest megacity to shut down on Friday as pollution choked swaths of South Asia, where nearly 50 million people have been breathing toxic air for nearly a week. Pakistan's second most populous city, home to more than 13 million people, has shut schools and closed public parks, malls and offices after the air quality index this week spiked to more than 400. Authorities in the Punjab province have also imposed an environmental and health emergency in Gujranwala and Hafizabad, in addition to Lahore, until the situation improves. They have also restricted the gathering of more than 4 people in one place. The pollution spike in Pakistan comes after neighbouring India saw smog blanket its capital, New Delhi, last week, as colder temperatures trapped pollution particles, creating a toxic haze that reached hazardous levels. Back with sports news now. Badminton, the 2023 Korea Masters. Out of favour, independent mixed pair Go Sun Hwat, Siobhan Jamie Lai stormed into the semi-finals after knocking out South Korea's Kim Won-ho, Jong Na-eun in the quarter-finals on Friday. The Malaysians came from behind and stunned the world number 7 pair 16-21, 22-20, 22-20 in the clash, securing their spot in the last 4. The world number 14 pair will face China's Jiang Zhenbang, Wei Yaxin, who defeated Malaysian pair Tan Kian Meng, Lai Peijing 21-19, 21-9. Meanwhile, national number 1 Chen Tangjie, Do Yiwei made it a double joy when they powered past Taiwan's Chu Xiangqie, Lin Xiaomin in straight sets 21-19, 21-17. With their win, the duo will face reigning world champion Seo Song-jae, Chae Yu-jung of South Korea in the last 4. In the men's singles, national young shuttler Leong Junhao's ambitious bid to secure back-to-back titles came to a halt as he was knocked out in the quarter-finals. World number 38 Junhao lost 21-14, 22-20 to Lei Lanxi, China's sixth highest ranked men's singles player, currently at world number 57. Over in the men's doubles, Go Zhefei Nur Izzuddin showed that they still have plenty to do against the world's best pairs. Despite boasting 3 titles since June, Zhefei Izzuddin were completely outplayed by world champions Kang Min-hyuk, So Song-jae, losing 21-18, 21-10 in just 35 minutes. On to tennis now, the 2023 Moselle Open. Fabio Fognini displayed an impressive performance, securing a spot in the semi-finals with a resounding straight sets victory over compatriot Lorenzo Sonego. Fognini dominated the first set with a commanding 6-1 lead and showed his exceptional tennis prowess to win the second set 6-2 against his compatriot. The world's number 130 will next face 4th seed Hugo Humbert in the last 4. Earlier, Fognini's opponent in the semi-finals, Humbert, won the Metz Derby against Harold Mayeux in straight sets. The world number 23 swiftly claimed the first set 6-3 against Harold Mayeux, establishing an early advantage that he maintained throughout the set. The second set was less straightforward for Humbert, as Mayeux put up a real fight, but Humbert held out to win 7-5 to qualify for the semi-finals. The upcoming encounter between Fognini and Humbert promises to be a gripping match, with both players vying for a spot in the final. When we return from this quick break, taekwondo instructor charged with sexual assault of 5 underage girls. Stay tuned, more after this break.
Syukur alhamdulillah apa yang jadi hari ini.
Tubuh badannya telah dipotong kepada 18 bahagian.
Dia senyum dan jawab, semoga saya panjang umur.
Mona ni hari-hari pakai cantik. Dia macam artis lah dia pakai tu.
Hukuman gantung sampai mati ke atas ketiga-tiga tertuduh kekal.
A customer service executive was remanded for 7 days from Friday on suspicion of accepting bribes amounting to about 45,000 ringgit. The money was allegedly in return for changing agents involved in recruitment of Bangladeshi workers through the computer system. The remand order until November 16th was issued by Magistrate Irza Zulaika Rohanuddin following the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MECC's remand application at the Putrajaya Magistrates Court. Sources said the female suspect, aged in her 20s, was believed to have been arrested at about 5 p.m. on Thursday at the MECC Putrajaya headquarters after being summoned to give evidence. The suspect, who works at a company that supplies foreign worker management systems, is believed to have committed the act from June to October this year. Putrajaya MECC Director Azizul Ahmad Sarkawi confirmed the arrest. The case is being investigated under the MECC Act 2009. Over in Johor, the MECC has arrested an enforcement officer for allegedly asking for sexual favours from a woman as an inducement to help her in a case. Sources said the officer, in his 40s, was arrested at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday in a special operation at a hotel in Johor Bahru. He was together with the woman, who was in her 20s at the time. The woman is believed to have been arrested for drug offences and is undergoing a period of supervision for 2 years at an enforcement agency in the district. The Magistrates' Court on Friday issued a 4-day remand order against the officer. MECC Intelligence Division Director, meanwhile, Dato' Azmi Kamaruzaman, when contacted, confirmed the arrest. He said the case was being investigated under the MECC Act 2009. The worker who was hurt in the ammonia gas leak at an ice manufacturing factory in Sandakan has died. Sandakan District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Abdul Fuad Abdul Malik said a group of 7 people were carrying out maintenance works on one of the machines in the 10 a.m. incident on Friday. During repairs, one pipe burst and ammonia gas burst out. He said the person who was directly in front of the burst pipe was the worst hit. He fell unconscious and was declared dead upon reaching the Duchess of Kent Hospital. 18 people were working near the area when the incident happened, and all were taken to the hospital for treatment. The cause of the incident is being investigated. Whereas over in Selangor, a taekwondo instructor was called to the Shah Alam Sessions Court to face 5 counts of physical sexual assault on 5 girls aged between 7 and 11 years in September and October this year. 20-year-old Ahmad Munir Zainuddin, a private college student, claimed trial to all charges under the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017, read before Sessions Court Judge Rashiha Ghazali. He was accused of committing the acts for sexual purposes on 5 separate occasions at a hall. Each offence carries a maximum jail term of 20 years and whipping upon conviction. Rashiha fixed 6,000 ringgit bail for each charge and set December 14th for mention. She also ordered the accused not to harass the victims, to report to the police station on the 1st of every month, and to surrender his passport to the court. In Perlis, a jobless man claimed trial at the Kangar Sessions Court to 2 charges of firearm and live ammunition possession at a rubber estate in Padang Besar on October 26 this year. Muhammad Hafizi Saman, aged 22, from Padang Besar, pleaded not guilty when the charges were read before Judge Mushiri Pete. He was charged under the Firearms Act, Increased Penalty 1971, and the Firearms Act 1960. The court fixed December 12th for mention. Hafizi was also later charged at the Kangar Magistrates Court for trafficking 70 kilograms of cannabis in Padang Besar on the same date. No plea was recorded for the charge under the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. The court subsequently fixed February 16th next year for mention. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, we take a look as London's Battersea Power Station marked the opening of its popular festive ice rink. With that, I'm Anita. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.